Crooked Joe Biden. What do we like better, Crooked Joe or Sleepy Joe? Ready? Ready? Crooked Joe or Sleepy? Ready? Crooked Joe. Second was George Washington. That's not bad. I beat George Washington. I love beating George Washington. Now it's 1 in 36 babies have autism. 1 in 36. Think it was 1 in probably 20,000 people. Now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong. Something's wrong, and Bobby is going to find it. Working with Dr. Oz, by the way. We're also going to Fort Knox. I'm going to go with Elon. And would anybody like to join us? Because we want to see if the gold is still there. I'm going to try and get the war settled, and I'm going to try and get all that death ended. So we're asking for rare earth and oil, anything we can get. But we feel so stupid. Here's Europe. And you know, it affects Europe. It doesn't really affect us, except we don't like to see two things. Number one, how Biden got us into this thing in the first place. Terrible. But why is it that he didn't ask for equalization? Europe should put up more money than us. But even if you said the same thing, how come we went so far out front? And he didn't know that Europe gets his money back. They did it in the form of a loan. We don't get our money back. We get nothing. So we're getting our money back.
Donald Trump has returned to CPAC, and if his speech is any indication, he's on a mission, one he calls liberating America. But what does he mean by that? And is there any truth behind his claims? Today, we break down Trump's CPAC speech, analyze his key statements, and separate fact from fiction.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We fought through hell together, but in the end, we achieved the great liberation of America. We're liberating our country right now. We're doing all these things that you're reading about. We're liberating our country. I first spoke to this gathering 14 years ago.
Trump is positioning his return to office as a rescue mission from what he calls a Democratic-led tyranny. But what exactly does he claim to be liberating the country from? He implies that the previous administration focused too much on empowering minorities and encouraging immigration, framing these as threats rather than strengths. Under Biden, the U.S. saw record low unemployment rates for minority groups, with black unemployment hitting a historic low of 4.7% in 2023. Immigration policy under Biden focused on legal pathways while also increasing border security funding with record high deportations in 2023. Trump's rhetoric here is more about rallying his base than addressing actual policy shifts. Liberation from policies that boosted employment and strengthened border security? That's a curious take.
Because despite that, they cheated like hell. It was just too big to rig. It was too big to rig. 77 million. Remember, you used to go, I said, look, we're leading in the polls by a lot. Don't believe the polls. Just go and vote. You got to vote. We're going to make it too big to rig. And they tried, but it was too big to rig. One of the great statements. We love it because everybody went and voted.
Trump continues to claim his victory was too big to rig, a direct callback to his baseless 2020 election fraud claims. Trump's 2024 victory margin was among the narrowest in modern history, with legal challenges from Democrats dismissed due to lack of evidence. The idea of elections being rigged was debunked after Trump's own appointed judges rejected multiple lawsuits following his 2020 defeat. Claiming an election is too big to rig contradicts his previous claims that elections can be rigged. If that were true, wouldn't a landslide Biden win in 2020 have been even more susceptible to fraud?
Never do it. No, he was Sleepy Joe, but he was crooked as hell. You know, there's no question. He was a sleepy, crooked guy. Terrible, terrible president. He was the worst president in the history of our country. I don't care, I'll say it. Jimmy Carter passed away recently, and he passed away a happy man. He was a happy man when he passed away, because he said that it's not even close. Joe was the worst, and believe me, I have to clean up the mess. I'm cleaning up the mess, and it is a mess on the border with inflation. Could go over every single thing he touched turned to shit, okay? Everything.
Trump compares Biden unfavorably to Jimmy Carter, suggesting Biden left the country in economic ruin. Under Biden, inflation peaked in 2022 but dropped significantly by 2024, with wages outpacing inflation for the first time since 2020. The economy added over 13 million jobs under Biden, a recovery from the COVID-19 recession. Biden's presidency had economic struggles, but claiming everything he touched failed ignores job growth, stock market recovery, and lower inflation trends.
I imposed an immediate federal hiring freeze, a federal regulation freeze, and a foreign aid freeze. We're given to countries that hate us. We're giving billions and billions of dollars to countries that hate us. And I signed an order creating the Department of Government Efficiency. You probably haven't heard of it, which is now waging war on government waste, fraud, and abuse. And Elon is doing a great job. He's doing a great job.
Trump, with Elon Musk at the helm of his new Department of Government Efficiency, claims to have purged 75,000 government workers who were supposedly abusing remote work policies. Federal workers are legally barred from outside employment without approval. There is no evidence of mass corruption due to remote work. The 75,000 workers Trump mentioned, that's largely from buyout incentives Musk introduced, which had no correlation to fraud. Cutting government spending is one thing, but using unverified claims to justify it, that's classic Trump.
The war between Russia and Ukraine, people are being killed, mostly young men, mostly Russian and Ukrainian men, at levels you've never seen before, thousands of people a week. And I've spoken to President Putin, and I think that thing is going to end, but it's got to end. It's a horrible, horrible thing to watch. I'm dealing with President Zelensky. I'm dealing with President Putin. I'm trying to get the money back that, or secured, because, you know, Europe has given $100 billion. The United States has given $350 billion because we had a stupid, incompetent president and administration. 350. But here's worse. Europe gave it in the form of a loan. They get their money back. We gave it in the form of nothing, so I want them to give us something for all of the money that we put up, and I'm going to try and get the war settled, and I'm going to try and get all that death ended. So we're asking for rare earth and oil, anything we can get.
Trump suggests the U.S. should be financially compensated for military aid given to Ukraine. U.S. aid to Ukraine is primarily in the form of weapons and military support, not cash loans. Ukraine's rejection of Trump's deal, which involved control over its mineral wealth, is a sovereignty issue rather than a financial dispute. Framing military aid as an investment with expected returns misunderstands alliances and global security. No country pays back military aid in minerals. Trump's CPAC speech was full of bold statements, but when we dig into the facts, a different picture emerges. His supporters see him as a liberator, but the truth? It's more complicated than that. What do you think? Is Trump's version of America's future the right path? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Now, that's why, you know, when it comes to a day where you can't challenge crooked elections, we've got a real problem in this country. And as of January 20th, 2025, the dark days of high taxes, crushing regulations, rampant inflation, flagrant corruption, government weaponization, and total incompetence, those days are over. They're over. But we cannot stop now. We're going to push forward every single day. In the immortal words of that great American hero, Captain John Paul Jones, I have not yet begun to fight. And neither have you. So together for the next 4 years, we are going to stand strong. We are going to work hard. We are going to fight, 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 and win, win, win. Thank you to CPAC. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Mercedes. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. God bless America. Thank you very much. God bless America. Thank you.